And I've got to say, congratulations on such a great album.
Man, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
So, I was wondering if you could start off by telling us a little bit about what was inspiring you with this EP. There is so much deep and meaningful lyrics on this album. What was inspiring you when you sat down to work on the lyrics for this album?
I think it was sort of what we talk about a lot in our music, and even more so in both of these Killing One and Killing Two EPs, which is really about life being tough, life being suffering for all of us, and especially with this year, even though it was done, most of these tracks were done beforehand. You really saw it in 2020 across the world, obviously, but not just looking at it like, we're kind of a thing, but trying to just be realistic about where we are in this, and trying to, if we can do that, maybe be able to figure out a good way forward if we're honest with one another and authentic with ourselves.
Yeah. Caesar, it was such a weird year in 2020, and it seems to be going the same way in 2021. How difficult was it to put together these tracks during a pandemic and then bring it out during a pandemic?
Yeah, it's like, obviously you're not going to have tour support, right? Yeah. So that's tough for many, huge to small, and there's that. But also for us, it was trying to get in and out of there when we could before the pandemic hit, and then we started doing a lot more remote work and just being safe and going, one at a time. And I think I did the vocals. Luckily, I believe I did the vocals for all these tracks before the pandemic hit. So we had that kind of ready to go. But it's difficult, man, and a lot of bands are hurting right now. Our whole live industry is hurting right now, and it's kind of tough. But we're just trying to push through.
Yeah, we're starting to see shows slowly return here. Some states of Australia now haven't had any COVID for a couple of months, so they're starting to get back into shows a little bit faster than us. What's the kind of timeline that they're telling you there? Because I know that you were supposed to tour with Fozzy in May. What's the timeline like there for you?
It's hit and miss. I mean, I've heard kind of a lot of different things. We're still hoping for May, but I've heard from it'll be summer to just large shows like festival shows to no one's doing anything until 2022, sort of thing. So we're going to kind of be ready for anything, and I think perhaps playing those live shows, or at least have some kind of live content for fans, is going to be important in these times. So I know a lot of people did like the live stream stuff last year and a little this. We might have to all continue to do so we can keep the music going, especially our heavy genre.
Yeah. How did you find the live streams? Because I've spoken to a lot of artists, and some here seem to absolutely love doing them, and others said it felt really weird because they didn't have that audience there to react off or to hear the audience reaction. How did you find those live streams?
I agree. I think we haven't ours yet, so we're still setting that up. But I can tell and just speak from friends who I've talked to that it is weird. It's you play hard in practice, right? So if you do that, you can kind of gather what it's going to be like when you're playing yourself. But I could see both points of view, where it's just good to play again and use the camera as kind of the audience and do different things that you might not be able to do during a regular, club or whatever show. And then there's obviously the big issue about not having people in front of you to connect with and feed off of, which is, a gigantic part of the experience, especially, again, with heavy music.
Yeah. Bringing it back to the EP, working with Kane as producer, tell us a little bit about that, because what was really interesting was I listened to the EP before I read the bio of the EP, and I'd actually already mentioned in my review that there was parts of this that sounded like an Ozzy Osbourne album with the vocals, and then I realized Kane had worked with Ozzy. So tell us a little bit about working with Kane and what you felt he brought to the EP.
Well, first of all, it's a huge compliment because he's one of my idols. Obviously, I think he's most people's idol in this genre, but thank you for that. But yeah, he's Kane. We're big fans of him, both professionally. You can look at his list of accomplishments, and it's gigantic, and it's obvious what he's been able to do in the alternative metal genre, and also elsewhere too. And he's just first of all really cool guy, really easy to work with, and we love how he kind of takes our stuff to the next level and helps us clarify ideas musically, lyrically, with whatever really. Yeah, it's a pleasure to work with him, and that's why we're continuing to do so.
Yeah, we've been playing tracks off the EP, but our listeners have completely fallen in love with the track Joke. Tell us a little bit about Joke, what the track is about, and what that was like to put together, seeing so many of our listeners seem to have fallen in love with it.
Yeah, that was the idea for the video was really that we wanted to create this kind of being and have him, go through a kind of, I don't know if you're familiar with Adult Swim at all.
Yes.
But
yeah.
that kind of like odd, that kind of odd video. I've always been a fan of the kind of just whacked out stuff, whether it be psychedelic or just out there stuff that they produce, even if it's just a commercial of theirs or whatever. So that kind of inspired a little bit of our idea with the Joke video, and also we just wanted to keep creating more of our kind of fictional universe. So that's where this childlike character began, and he kind of emerges from the ground to wreak havoc, and that was a lot of fun to create with our Daniel Prothero for that. The song itself, it's about thinking about the illusory nature of the self, both in cyberspace and the physical world.
Yep.
So I think that we've really, at this stage in the game in 2021, have really amplified our tendency towards self-delusion with social media and all the social platforms, really.
Yep.
And it's just more about the exploration of what it means to be authentically human, which is something that we talk about a lot in our lyrics.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that universe that the band has created, because it is such an interesting thing that you guys have done. And were you huge sci-fi fans before this, or did that kind of come out of this idea that you had?
No, we were fans before this, definitely. As kids and everything, we kind of grew into it. And with that, we just always kind of had the idea with Zero Theorem to try to write material and create art and create even the live show that's multisensory and also that kind of plays off one another, so that a song or an art could be used in multiple ways. So not just maybe in the way of us, just taking it for what it is and the lyrics for what they are, but also that would, as part of our fictional universe, and we're just trying to create characters. We've done so with 3 or 4 characters in this last Killing 2 EP with the video, and it's a lot of fun. We're not going to stop.
Yeah.
We'll be back in the videos too, but we're definitely going to continue on with the creation of more of the universe and more planets, more characters, and all that kind of a thing, so we can keep that going.
Yeah. Now, as a huge sci-fi movie and television fan, I have to ask, what was the sci-fi that got you into sci-fi as a kid?
As a kid, it was probably more about characters and the worlds, and just really being like blown away when you watch, of course, Star Wars and all those Alien and all those kinds of things where you're really just blown away by these different kinds of worlds. And then now it's become almost eerily familiar. It feels like a lot of the sci-fi that's being created now is almost plausible.
Yep.
So there's a lot of parallels between our world now and the fictional, sort of science fiction genre, and it's kind of creepy, but also very interesting to think.
Definitely. Well, Caesar, I guess to finish up, what would you like to say to your Aussie fans out there before they sit down and take a listen to The Killing 2?
Yeah, I would just like to say to keep an open, and we'll continue to explore all types of realms of the heavy genre, rock and metal, and thank you so much for giving us a chance. And we're looking forward to someday getting down there and playing.
Awesome, mate. Well, we would certainly love to see you live, but for now, congratulations on such a fantastic EP, and thank you so much for joining us on our show tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem, mate. You stay safe, and we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, mate. Bye.